It's episode 89 of Enemy of the State's Dank Pod-Stash. Before we get started, let me shout out Dank Pod-Stash super supporters Maxwell, Dave, and Dennis. They're supporting the show through Patreon. I really appreciate it, and all my other patrons, you guys make the show work. Also, the Dank Pod-Stash is officially sponsored by Project Sparta. It's time to get Boogaloo ready and in fighting shape. Greg Papanicholas is going to get you there with personalized meal plans, training, group support, and tons of amazing fitness and motivational resources and knowledge, including the Project Sparta Facebook group. You can go to projectspartacoaching.com and learn more about Greg's work and get started on your path to health. Don't be that person that only sits and talks about change, whether it's your health or even the Boogaloo. Get up, start learning, drilling, and training. One of the most important parts of prepping, no matter what for, is your physical health. Get to projectspartacoaching.com now and get after it. We also have a special offer for our listeners from friend of the show, author, and content creator extraordinaire, Shane Radliff of Liberty Under Attack Publications. You can take 10% off your order by using coupon code DANK10 at libertyunderattack.com, where you can get books focusing on self-liberation, freedom strategies, solutions, and more. Current books include #Agora, Second Realm Book on Strategy, Ben Stone's Sedition, Subversion, and Sabotage, Shane's very own Vanu, A Strategy for Self-Liberation, and many more. They also offer assistance to new authors throughout the publishing process, including editing, proofreading, formatting for Kindle and paperback, and full-service audiobook production. That's Liberty Under Attack Publications. Share your story, find your freedom. Special shout-out to Voluntary Apothecary. Voluntary Apothecary was kind enough to send me a sample care package and continues to send me awesome beard care products, beard oil, you name it, they got it. Mustache wax, combs, and more. You can check out their amazing products at Tash Tamer and voluntariapothecary.com. Listeners of the show can take 10% off your order with code DANK at checkout. The Dank Pod-Stash is teamed up with Road to Anarchy for a monthly newsletter and more. Road to Anarchy is an online magazine connecting groups of voluntary individuals who are looking to increase their freedom from the state. Becoming more self-reliant and developing a better focus on becoming a productive individual is the only mission. The only division is against the state. No matter your flavor of anarchy, finding your road to anarchy is the first step to progress. The time is now to put our individual differences aside, join up, and create change. You can go to roadtoanarchy.com to sign up for the monthly zine or to patreon.com/thedankpodstash and get signed up with any tier of support. Check out the Road to Anarchy Facebook page and group to connect with other individuals on the road to anarchy. Where is your road taking you? Now, let's jump on in to episode 89 with my good friend Jimmy John. It's a good one, folks. Sit back, buckle up, enjoy.
Enemy of the state.
An enemy of the state.
Enemy of the state.
Dank Pod-Stash.
You're listening to Enemy of the State's Dank Pod-Stash. Check out thedankpodstash.com to find every episode of the Dank Pod-Stash, links to support the show via our BitBacker and Patreon, Dank Pod-Stash merchandise, and much more. If you'd like to advertise on the Dank Pod-Stash, email us at dankpodstash@gmail.com. And we're back again for another episode of Enemy of the State's Dank Pod-Stash with my homie, my MTG playing brother, Jimmy John Gill. What's going on, man?
Howdy ho, guys. It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm really happy, really thankful that you were able to step in. I lost two people who were going to record today for different things. It is Father's Day, so it's hard for people to step away and do stuff, but I really appreciate you stepping in, and I think we're going to have fun because we're already bullshitting on a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm like, hold on, we got to wait till we start recording. So let's jump it off with my usual first question, and that's just, how are you an anarchist, voluntarist, whatever you want to call yourself? I know we're going to get into symbols, labels later and whatnot, and how did you get there?
I've been going by voluntarist for a while here, I think. How did I get there? Well, I kind of always had some anarchistic leanings, I would say, for I don't know. I guess as long as I could start developing intricate, complex thought.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just for a while I'd been like that, but I didn't have like a label or anything to put along with it. I didn't know. I basically was floating around thinking I was the only one, other than like, I don't know, I guess the punk rockers. So of course I was like a fringe element of that fringe element.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess what really started me down any sort of path was Charlottesville.
Okay.
For whatever reason, that happened at the right time for me to get really upset about it, and that's when I started really discovering like libertarianism, and then I don't know, it kind of went from there. And then I guess I just met people that I liked in the circle and hung around with them, and then here I am now.
Yeah.
I ended up hanging out with. I guess I met David first, and then it was Dan Johnson and Gabe, and then you.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was that one guy? There's another guy that was there for a while. Oh yeah, Joe. Yeah.
Joe, Mitch. Yeah, the boys from that original group chat, man. That was a good chat. Now you say Charlottesville. What about Charlottesville got you all fired up? And I thought we were all in that chat before Charlottesville. Maybe I'm wrong. I have a terrible memory when it comes to time. So
I didn't think so.
Maybe not. But what about Charlottesville?
What about it? Watching people get run over by, like, watching idiots get run over by other idiots because of stupid things like that. It really infuriated me that that things had gotten to that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. I felt like everybody out there, nobody was really out there doing anything intelligent, and then people really got hurt.
Right. Yeah, that Charlottesville was wild. There was a whole lot of bad on a whole lot of levels there, because there was the Dodge Charger, right, that ran people over. There were the Tiki Torch carriers. That was an element of Charlottesville, right? That was kind of before that stuff. I
don't know how this series of events played out. Really, I guess I wasn't paying attention until somebody got hit by a car.
Right. There was some weird shit. I remember seeing a video too. There was protesters from the more, I guess, white supremacist side. They look like bikers. I don't know. They look like it. I'm just stereotyping here, but they were walking by and they said somebody threatened them with like, oh no, it was a video. There's threatened with spray paint or hairspray and a lighter, and he was like shooting flames at these guys, and this old biker dude with like a bandana on turns around and pulls out his gun and shoots the ground right in front of him. It's like, what the fuck is happening over there? And then it all, of course, culminated in that fucking Dodge. But that shit was wild. And I honestly, like I said, I don't have really a good memory. I don't even remember what Charlottesville was like. The whole deal was there. It seemed like there were so many different things.
They were mad at statues. Okay, so Charlottesville, the town, had decided to take down some statues on their own. And so the white supremacists got upset, and they said, well, we're going to go defend whose statue? And that's what happened. They went in there, and so then there was a counter protest. It was all just a big cluster of stupid. And, some poor girl got really hurt over it.
Yeah.
And then some other moron's going to go to jail.
Yep. Well, and, now we're back full circle to statues, right?
Right?
They're tearing down statues of all kinds of different people. This.
Yeah, some of it's pretty bad too. Like they tore down Grant.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't he one of the nice guys? I thought. Whatever. Yeah. It's not. I'm not losing sleep over it.
Right. There's different opinions on anybody. Like Grant was obviously with the Union Army. And so if you're coming at it from an issue of monuments to slavery, then that's not really a monument to slavery necessarily. But they tore down Grant. They tore down George Washington somewhere else. And, maybe from our perspective as anarchists, voluntarists, whatever you want to fucking call us, they're just tearing down status. So who gives a fuck? But at the same time, it's history. I don't like the idea of burying history, of tearing down history and not being reminded of that from time to time.
On that note, it is rough because I like seeing cool stuff. Like when I go and travel, whenever I get a chance to do that. So knowing there was something there that I'm not going to see, that is kind of rough. But And I don't know if it's helpful. It's not going to make anybody feel any better. They're just people acting out of rage, and maybe it's a little bit misguided.
Right.
What would you have them do?
Yeah. Well, that's the
Go
question
after,
with all this, right?
obviously go after the.
It's like, what would you have them do when it comes to whatever anybody's doing with burning shit down, rioting, even just the protesting? No matter what people do out there trying to get their voice heard, whether it's good or not, people are bitching. And it's like, well, what do you want them to do? You want them to just stand there and hold a sign? Because that's worked so well in the past and it's going to keep working, apparently. Vote more, vote harder, for fuck's sake.
Right. I can't tell anybody how to boog.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go out there and do. I don't see the need in tearing down a statue. I don't see the need in doing a whole lot of anything destructive. And the only thing I could see going out and demonstrating is just making sure other people were all right, I guess, or being there to make sure that at least maybe there could be some accountability if something were to happen.
Well, and now another thing
I'm
has
fat,
happened.
slow, and it's hot out here. I'm not going to do a whole lot.
I'm with you there, man, for fuck's sake. There was a good meme going around the other day. It was like, don't invite me to any outdoor events right now. It's summertime and I'm fat or something like that. It's like, well, if you put up some shade, maybe a pool will be good. But no, we're back to another person being killed over a statue protest in New Mexico. There's and it was stemmed from a statue protest, and it was the other day. But there was a group of people, and there was a group of people who looked like Boog Boys, but I don't think they were. I don't think they had the Hawaiian shirts. They were in kit and whatnot. And one of the guys that was armed ended up getting separated from the group and chased down by a bunch of other people. And there's a cell phone video of one of the people chasing him, and they're like, "Fucking kill him!" and yelling and shit. And he gets knocked to the ground, gets up, shoots one dude, and then goes off, I think 3 rounds he put into another dude and killed him. And they slowed down the video, and the guy that he killed, I think, first swung a skateboard at him and then tried to stab him. Like, you can see a big-ass knife coming for this dude. And people are all up in arms, he just wanted to kill protesters. And it's like, what the fuck do you expect if you're trying to stab a guy who's carrying a gun? Like, isn't this the oldest story in the book? Don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
For sure. No, I didn't see all that. I saw it. I guess maybe I didn't slow it down. I saw a guy go after someone else with a skateboard. And then, yeah, I saw him one round and then change and then multiples on the next target. But, from the video, it looked like there was like he was probably justified. What was there, like 4 guys going after him?
At least.
But then I'm also hearing rumors that he was out there, being rough with some women.
I heard that too.
Like he was probably out of order in the first place. He was harassing people and maybe attacking some other people. And if that's the case, then I don't know. What are you going to do? You can only look at what the video shows us. And from what the video shows us, the guy was probably justified. I don't know what happened just before that.
Right.
I don't know what happened before he woke up and left the house either.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And there's variables that nobody ever thinks of. Because, it's true. It's true. It's not like we're jumping in like, the fucking blue line supporters, copsuckers do. Be like, well, what happened before? Let's see the rest of the video. There's a lot of factors that come in. I hope we take a more, objective stance when it comes to this stuff, looking at everything that may have happened. But from what we did see, yeah, he was getting a fucking mob of people coming after him, and they're trying to beat him with a skateboard, and there's clearly a knife in the screenshots that I've seen. Maybe they're doctored, who knows? But I mean, if somebody came after me with a knife, I'd shoot him too. I also wouldn't be attacking women at a protest to get a mob to come after me either, but I haven't seen any verification of that either, so I don't know.
Neither have I. It's just one of those things. I'm not going to get too riled up about it because there's always going to be some information that comes out later.
Sure. Yeah, there always is. And that's an interesting one too. Speaking of info coming out later, when the world started burning here with George Floyd's murder, and then there was also the guy who stole the taser. What was it? Was it Arby's or Wendy's drive-through? Stole the taser from the cop and then ended up getting shot in the back. Wendy's, yeah. And people, like, why the fuck do people immediately go into researching these people's pasts who got murdered like that makes a difference in that fucking moment? Like, who fucking cares? A cop knelt on George Floyd's neck for 9 fucking minutes. Like, what the fuck?
Because I don't know. Do you want an answer to that?
Yeah, I want to know what you think. I know you have
Why
the
do they
answer,
immediately
man.
do that? My immediate response is to help justify their own subserviency. People are pretty subservient nowadays. It's actually really rough, and so like to see these things happening, it's kind of like psychologically you're going to rebuff. You need to come up with some sort of regurgitation in order to make it make sense to yourself.
Sure.
Or else you have to admit there's a problem and you have to go to work and this is gonna suck. And it's like slowly people are gonna have to realize that we're gonna have to go to work eventually.
Right.
Something's gonna change, whether you want it to or not.
No, you're right, and that makes sense too. If we're looking at people who are all in on, the state, I guess, the way of life that the majority know here in supporting police, or at least wanting to have police around and voting to solve things and whatnot, I guess that makes sense. That you would find a way to justify it in that the person who was killed was a bad person. So whether or not in that scenario they were right or wrong, it's like, oh well, they were shitty, so fuck it doesn't matter. And I think the thing I posted about that the other day, and it seemed like it got a little traction, was that if they can do it to them, somebody who's done something wrong previously, and just kill them at a point where they haven't done anything wrong, they can do it to you, the people who are using that tactic to justify it. That's what I think people miss. It's like, if you're going to justify excessive force, murder, whatever, then it can be justified to be used against you.
Now, but they don't see it that way. So a lot of these regurgitators, I'll call them, or whatever, they're not going to see it that way, because again, they would have to take responsibility, and then that responsibility is also probably not going to make them feel very big about themselves. But if in part of taking responsibility, it would have to be like, no, I can't just sit there. I can't just comply, because I could still get shot. And now the whole world's much scarier.
Mm-hmm.
Once these facts are, once they've sunk into your skull, it's not, you can't just sit there and be like, well, there is a way out, because there isn't always.
Right.
Guy could be having a bad day. Dude could be drunk. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's all sorts of stories that much of the world don't ever hear about. They never reach, who's Duncan Lemp?
Right. Yeah. And, that's
who on the street knows
too.
what that is.
Not many. Well, and it is getting more, his name is getting more recognition with more Boo Boys going out there and stuff. But I thought it was interesting that the Boo community had taken up not only Duncan Lemp, but also Breonna Taylor and even Philando Castile and a lot of other people who were murdered, Daniel Shaver. But it's pretty cool that people have been looking for justice for Breonna Taylor in the Boo community, and now something's happening over there. Not that the Boo community did that, but they're trying to make, was it Breonna's law, where she was in the town where she lived? I can't remember, something about no-knock raids and stuff like that. Trying to get rid of those, so that's cool. It's just good that people are picking up the torch, these names, and trying to get them out there no matter what, because I think it's working, whether or not it's through our preferred channels with being anarchists or not,
See, I can't tell. What does the world look like to someone outside of all this community, or whatever we're gonna call it? What does it look like? So, and I can't. So to me, it looks like there's traction, at least on a social level. I don't know what social traction looks like as an end game, because society's crazy. But I can't tell. For instance, today I'm having a conversation with someone like I don't really talk to unless they have something to complain about, and I found out memers are idiots.
Okay.
Via this conversation today. And so he's complaining about he's calling 9/11 theorists and the Epstein people. He says, well, you guys are all QAnon lunatics. And I'm like, dude, where have you been?
Yeah.
I was like, many of these conspiracy theories that you're mentioning, sure, they're theories, but they're very well received and widely accepted, at least from what I can tell nowadays. A lot of people are going to say the same thing about 9/11. A lot of people are going to say the same thing. Epstein didn't kill himself. He's okay. So he mentioned Pizzagate, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty flimsy. I'm with you on that one. And then there was another one that he had mentioned, and it was a shock to me that there's still people floating around out there that are that inundated.
Right. No, yeah, you're right.
It was nuts. So I don't know, what does the world look like to the rest of the species? I couldn't tell you.
Well,
to me, it looks like there's traction, and that's good, because a lot of times it doesn't look like there's any traction, and I'm usually the first to admit that.
Yeah. No, and it's depressing when you see it that way, when you see that there's nothing happening, there's no traction. And, I've been taking a bit of time away from social media in general and stuff and dealing with stuff in my life. But during that time, I've talked to people not on Facebook, not on whatever other social media. I've talked to people in real life, and I think it's less hopeless than we think it is in general, just based on the people I've talked to, which includes a handful of strangers, not just, people that I'm doing work with or people I know from the local bar or whatever, just strangers. I always end up getting into these conversations, and people are fed up, and the missing link that we always have with people who are getting fed up is getting them away from, maybe we can vote to change it. Maybe we can put somebody better in to change this. And I see that link being completed now. I see a lot of people saying, well, fuck that. It's not like, look at who we have to vote for right now. It's not going to make any difference. So there's a lot of people with good questions. They're like, well, what do I do? I was like, well, you buy a lot of fucking guns and some body armor, and you get a group together and you be ready to defend yourself. That's what you do. And you tell more people.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, to protect your fucking toilet paper. That's right. Have a plan. And people fucking love that. People like that so much more than if you were to be like, hey, check out this new fucking milquetoast nobody that the Libertarian Party's putting forward. You could vote for them and things won't change.
Milquetoast nobody. Yeet. So glad to be here today.
Well, fuck, man, I'm not wrong.
Really, that was hilarious.
She's probably a nice lady, this Jo Jorgensen person, and, she's obviously smart and stuff, but Jesus, they had some excitement going, at least with the race between Hornberger and Vermin Supreme and fucking Joe Cash and stuff. There was drama, and it was funny, and there was all kinds of stuff, and people were at each other's throats. And then all of a sudden, they're just like, Jo Jorgensen. Everyone's like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, no, there's something about it. There's something very, okay. I'm waiting for her Aleppo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. I know it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's gonna fumble the ball real bad. It's gonna get plastered everywhere, and then everybody's gonna go, oh, those libertarians. and then we're back to making memes.
Yeah.
Trying to sell t-shirts.
You're not fucking wrong. Speaking of selling t-shirts, demand safe streets, disband the police. You can see that on YouTube. I bought some of my own shirts so I could wear them on the show. Shameless self-promotion there. But
there's a band I need to listen to?
No, it says demand safe streets, and it's got a riot cop, and it says disband the police on the bottom. It's a shirt from dankpodstash.threadless.com. But yeah, no, I don't see why every libertarian candidate they put forward will not have their own Aleppo move moment. Every single one of them is going to have that Aleppo moment. And when the big parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, their morons say something stupid, it's in the news cycle for 24 hours, and then they move on.
Fanfare.
Yeah, it's crazy
for those guys.
For fuck's sake, Joe Biden. What the fuck? That video of him with the kids at that public pool, and he's talking about kids touching his hairy legs in the pool and all kinds of weird. You don't even know what he's saying, and he's still the one for the Democrats. What is happening?
I don't know. I want to see. I really want to see how this cycle goes. I haven't heard anybody talk up their candidate. I haven't heard anybody really talk down the other guy as much. Like, you still hear it, Trump sucks, but
Orange man bad.
What is that?
Yeah.
Orange man bad, that's fine, sure. But even that's like de-escalated over the years. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I
maybe
think
it's
you're
still
right.
out there, and maybe it's just as bad as it ever was, but it seems like nobody's really talking shit about other candidates or supporting their own.
Right. Yeah. Besides the
I don't
usual.
know, maybe what you've seen.
What I've seen
On the
is,
public side, because I don't public. I only work with people, and the people that I work with aren't going to talk to me.
well, there's a lot of there's a lot of ostriches when it comes to Trump, because people who are diehard Trump supporters for it, like there's untold amounts of boog boys who are all about Trump getting elected in 2016. Like, people have made memes about their progression of like, yeah, fuck yeah, Trump. Then wait, what the fuck? What the fuck's he doing? Oh, fuck this. Time to burn it all down. And so there's people realizing that shit. I think a lot of people who were gung-ho on Bernie, like after, what is this, 2-3 times now he's been fucked over by the Democrat, whatever, the DNC, they're just done with it, and now they want to burn shit down. So that's pretty cool. But then they also want another state, so that sucks. But what I was saying is there's a lot of ostriches when it comes to Trump, and there's people who are like, yep, Trump's my man, doesn't matter, and they just have their fucking head stuck down in the sand, and with Trump painted on their ass so they can get nailed. That seems to be the way of it.
I'm so upset with Trumpsters right now. It's out of control. It's just like how nuts, there was a time when it was okay to be like, wait, hold on, Democrats, you guys are sounding a little nuts right now. But like how quickly that flipped around, because you can't wear a MAGA hat and not sound stupid right now.
Right.
It is bad time to be Republican.
We
really,
say that,
really is.
But look at a lot of content that's not even, angry rednecks rambling in their trucks about whatever hurt their conservative feelings this last time, but like gun content. A lot of it is still like, America, fuck yeah, and people jump on the Trump train when they're America, fuck yeah people. That's the type of person that likes that shit, that likes MAGA and whatnot. I think it's strong. I think they aren't holding on to that MAGA label as much anymore. I think that's cooling, but I do think that conservative kind of fuck you style that Trump brought is pretty prevalent still, whether or not he's their man.
He can be, that can be prevalent or not. It's just that right now, especially, they just look stupid. Like, if you're a critical thinker and you're still banging with those guys, then you're on one. Like, you really, the smart people had to abandon that ship, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And
the smart money ain't going to be on him. It's going to be, they're going to have, that's the herd mentality right now, is all on his side, and it's sad to watch, but I have watched it.
Well, I can see that. I can see them all, like the herd mentality, the dumbs are still sticking with him because they're sticking with their tribe and whatnot. And so maybe it was a masterful move of sabotage to leave the Democrats with Biden, because nobody wants to fucking, line up behind him. They wanted to line up behind Bernie or fucking who knows who else. Hillary, when it was Hillary versus Trump. They left him with nobody that they feel can lead their tribe, so now they're freaking out.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's an interesting time. I've not seen this before in my lifetime.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, other than, other than the black guy getting brutalized and then everything burning, but this time on a national scale.
Right.
Because I lived right across the hills from LA when this all went down the first time. My dad, so that part's reminiscent. But as far as the communists setting up shop in the middle of the street out in Seattle, that's new. I haven't seen that one.
That's an interesting one too. And of course, I haven't gotten a chance to go over there, and it was the CHAZ and now it's the CHOP. But talking with people, first of all, who aren't anarchists, who have some info or at least some opinions on this, and then talking to anarchists on both sides of the street when it comes to the autonomous zone there, it smells fishy to me. And it makes me a little worried for the people who jumped in there hook, line, and sinker, because if they just opened the doors of City Hall and let them have it, and the police just fucking left and there was no fight for this, they're just like, all right, guys, yeah, do this autonomous zone. That they're not taking it. It's being given to them, and probably for a reason. And one of those reasons that my brother and I were actually talking about, because we brought up in the conversation Trump threatening to mobilize military, whether it's military police or whatever, if Jay Inslee, the governor of Washington, won't to disband this autonomous zone, then he will. I think maybe it's a setup. They're just putting the ball right on the tee for a big old show of force, big old anti-commie show of force. Be like, if you do this in America, you're going to get fucked up. And then people are going to be scared to try to do anything.
I don't know. There could be that. I know there's only going to be a few different ways for it to end, and a big show of force is going to be one of them. One of them, you could say, so big show of force, they do nothing, or everybody, or their demands are met and they disband.
Sure.
So big show of force isn't good. You can't have that. They're not going to do the demands, because then what's the point of calling yourself a government?
Right. Yeah.
When people can just do that. And then so yeah, it's almost like it's going to have to hang around for a while, or there's going to be a big show of force. And the way that Trump's spouting off, I think it's going to hang around as long as it's a political piece to be used.
I agree. I can see that.
Until the election's over with, it's going to hang around one way or another. That way they can use it as a talking point.
Right. Yep.
And then if Trump gets in, then he'll probably mop it up.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking with that.
I can see that. Were you following when Trump had a conference call with all the governors? I believe it was after his speech. It was in the White House, was it the Rose Garden, and then he walked over to that church to hold up the Bible for the photo shoot real quick. I believe he had a conference call with all the governors after that about taking care of the protests in their cities and whatnot. And it was pretty interesting reading the notes from that, reading what he said and what the governor said, because there were a few that were with him like, yeah, fuck it. Give me the National Guard, give me the military, we'll take them out. But most governors were like, no, keep that shit out of here. You don't have the right to dictate what I do as the leader of whatever state I lead right now. And that got me excited for an actual Civil War II electric Boogaloo, not just whatever random boog scenario each of us dreams up that would be perfect. But it's like, are we going to have another state versus federal thing on our hands here or what?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that. But can I ask you, how bipartisan was the results on that? Like,
it was mostly
just people that
mostly people who were pushing back against Trump is what it sounded like. There was only a couple who were right with him. There was a few who were just like, I'm not really going to talk in this meeting and I'm going to just kind of skate along. And then there were some who were like, stay the fuck out of our states with the military because we're handling it how we want to and we don't want to brutalize people.
And it wasn't majority blue or majority red that was reacting in any certain way.
No, the partisan lines did not seem to be very drawn very strongly when it came to telling him to get the fuck out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. But he's crazy.
Yeah, he is, man. If you just listen to him talk.
So it's like, and I can understand why anybody would be. Well, I would hope more people this cycle are gun shy going into that booth.
Mm-hmm.
I hope some people need to stop and ask themselves some serious questions, and it makes me want to meme harder. Meme harder.
Yeah, that's fucking right. Well, and memes are good. Memes spike that idea.
You start banging on Biden more and Trump.
Yeah. Well,
how are you going to bang on Trump? He does it himself.
You use his stuff, him bagging on himself, but that's the thing too, is Trump memes kind of fall flat now because everyone's like, low hanging fruit, another meme about fucking Trump. Who cares?
Sure.
That's the hard part. Plus, MAGA people are generally too fucking stupid to understand the nuance of a good meme when it comes to making fun of Trump or pointing something out, having a good point even. You must be a fucking libtard if you hate Trump. That's all I got to say about that meme.
Oh yeah, no, that's how it's always going to be. Your memes aren't going to start a conversation. It's going to reinforce somebody that's already had an idea or somebody that's already kind of on your side, as far as I can tell. I mean, if it reaches out to some other circle, then all the better. But I don't know. I guess maybe it's just my feed. I don't see a whole lot of cross pollination, and maybe I did that on purpose.
Yeah, I've been doing that on purpose.
I don't want to hear it. I don't need that negativity.
Right. No, I don't want to argue anymore. I'm sick of fucking arguing on the internet. It's annoying and it's depressing and it doesn't fucking do anything. There's no accountability between people. At me like that. Yeah. Fucking A, man. Well, that was another reason I ordered the shirts from my shop, is because I'm like, oh, I can fucking wear these to the bar or something. And someone's going to be like, disband the police? What the fuck are you talking about, man? I'm like, oh, I'll buy you a beer and tell you about it. How about that? And you can buy the next one if you like what I say.
For sure.
I like doing that stuff.
I need to. I like my Punisher shirt. I need to make a variant of that where I take the bow off and see if that does any better. And then maybe I'll start advertising and trying to actually sell things.
Yes. Well, that's good, because you had some bangers of shirts. And now I wanted to ask you too. You posted that video on Facebook. You want to start doing some videos and stuff. What do you want to talk about in your videos?
Oh. So yeah, I was gonna try a thing. I'm borrowing a speaker here, and you're saying it works, so that's good. I'm gonna try a thing where I'm gonna do the redneck truck thing, except for it's gonna be me in my chair here, just going through my feed, and it's just gonna be like real reactions. Oh. And I'm just gonna throw them out there and see if people laugh at what I'm saying, and to see if it works or
Hell
not.
Yeah.
It's not real. I'm not putting a whole lot of effort into it. But I got a speaker, a microphone, obviously.
Yeah.
But I like it. I want to see how it goes.
Send me the link for that first one again, because I was in the middle of some shit when you first tagged me in that one, and I want to see how it went, and maybe I'll drop the link in the description here, and we can get people seeing how it went too. Because I find you very entertaining with your reactions and your laughs and whatnot. Because it's not just talking on Facebook and Messenger and stuff. Like, we play Magic the Gathering together when we can on Fridays and whatnot. Yeah, you go fuck yourself if you want to call us nerds. I don't care. Yeah. I like it. But
oh, get it. I'm a Brody nerd.
But we have good times when we do that.
Cards, like I can start some shit.
That's fucking right. But that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about too. I'm going to loop back around to symbolism again, because you touched on something there. But before we go there, we're on the Magic the Gathering train now. Also, if anybody plays Magic the Gathering and wants to hit us up to be friends, do that. You can always look for more Magic friends. But the Magic the Gathering has been just absolutely ravaged by the social justice warrior culture lately, it seems. The latest thing, I think you have it pulled up there. I don't have it pulled up, but they banned a bunch of old cards for being racist. And it's like, the main reaction was, first of all, leave the fucking game alone, because they're not racist. You're just looking for anything to virtue signal with. The second thing is, it's just like, okay, you banned cards that nobody plays in a format that's dead. Like, who gives a fuck?
So it's some posturing for sure, and some of this can be silly. Some of it, okay. So I got the cards here. I'm gonna look at them real quick. We've got Invoke Prejudice. All right, it's an enchantment. It does a thing. It's called Invoke Prejudice, and I can see if you're outside the game where somebody would really look at this and go like, something's fishy here.
Well, they're wearing hoods,
it's called
right?
Invoke Prejudice.
They're wearing pointy hoods.
Okay, so it looks like this spectral figure, and that looks like kind of a Klan's hood. The thing's entirely black though, and it's running around. It's got this big axe. So in the context of the game, if you read what the card does, it says if an opponent would cast a summon spell that doesn't match the color of one of the creatures, see color, that's gonna throw people off.
Yeah.
Counter that spell unless for whatever. So this axe obviously it's going to axe whatever you cast, and then it's a spectral figure, and that's a lot that shows up in the blue colors a lot. So if from outside the context of the game, that looks rough.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the next card, Cleanse, destroy all black creatures. From outside the context of the game, that looks bad.
Yeah, but it's not like there's like you would know of a game before this article came up where they banned all these. If Magic the Gathering was a game where all black creatures were all black people and there was a white card that destroyed them called Cleanse, that would have been known a long time before they virtue signaled by banning this. Black is just the color recognition for that type of playing style or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's just crazy. It's not what it means. It's not ever what it was supposed to have meant.
Okay, yeah. So some of it's rough. Like, I don't know, Cleanse. From with inside the context of the game, I don't see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see from outside this one. Stone throwing devils. I don't understand why that's going to be a problem. The one that says gypsies. Okay, that'll piss people off.
Sure.
They don't like that word. Don't call people gypsies. All right. And there's a few others. No, I think it is. It's a lot of virtue signaling, probably. I don't know.
Well, that happened. So that happened, and
I've not heard of any of this. I mean, how many people are really complaining?
Well, okay, so it's weird because you get into the incel gamers who really bitch about this, and then you get into normal people like us or my buddy who runs Anarchy the Gathering on Facebook, and it's just like, stop, just fucking stop. It's not racist. Leave it alone. Quit inundating us with all this virtue signaling and make a good game. That's all we want. That's the main thing. But it goes further than just that. Those cards that they banned. Do you know who Therese Nielsen is, the artist for MTG? She did the original Force of Will.
Yeah.
And some other stuff. So they've been threatening to. This is Wizards of the Coast, who makes Magic the Gathering, has been threatening to end their relationship with her as an artist for the game since around 2016, or before a little bit when Trump was running for president, because she's a Trump supporter. That's the only reason. One of the greatest artists in the game, and she tweets about being a Trump supporter, and they're like, well, might need to just cut you from this, even though you are loved by every single person who plays the game because of your art. I don't get that.
It's not how I understood it. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Tell me yours then.
You're following all this a lot closer than I am. Let me find it, because ends the relationship with Nielsen. Okay, yeah. The way they make it sound here is as though they have been slowly tapering off of using her work.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm on Hipsters of the Coast.
Yes,
is what I'm reading right here. Is that where you read it from?
That's where I have.
They kind of make it sound like they had been tapering off her work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. And that they were going to go ahead and stop using her work altogether here in the next year or so, and that they weren't talking a whole lot about it. That's how this article makes it sound. And to me, it makes it sound to me like her contract was probably up a while back, and they're trying to quietly.
Sure.
Just get rid of the problem.
I can say for sure that
again, I've only read one article.
The most of the stink has been brought up by channels like The Quartering and stuff like that. Channels that are notorious for, I don't know, harassing cosplayers in the MTG community, that kind of stuff. He's a douche, and he's more of a MAGA guy, shit like that. And they bring it up because she one time tweeted something about MAGA and say, this is a fucking travesty, that kind of shit. I don't know. Who knows on that one? Could be wrong. But on a smaller level of just the type of people who are playing the game now and are bringing this influence, not just the game creators and the people at Wizards and whatnot. I was looking at a spoiler from the new set, and they're now using the term mill instead of just putting cards from the top of your deck into your graveyard or whatever. The term mill, you know what a mill deck is. You get rid of all their cards and they lose the fucking game. So they're using that, and someone's like, isn't this racist? Why did they even print this card? And it's like, what? What's racist? The word mill. Like, how the fuck is that racist? What are you talking about? And they went on this whole thing. It's like, no, it came from a card called Millstone there was a card called Millstone, and that dumped their cards into the graveyard. That's where it came from. Like, nope, it's racist. It's about slavery and all this stuff. It's like, well, for fuck's sake, I guess you just can't print any cards. You can't have a game because there might be a word on there that someone thinks is racist.
Yeah, so it'll blow over. It comes in waves. I mean, I guess at least I hope it blows over. It will. Society goes through this crap, and it will blow over.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's a bad part about that too. I kind of want those people to be mad. the more angry people we have, the better. So it's like, if the left's mad, because when the left gets mad, they get mad. They get upset. They don't go out to the VA rally and stand around and ask for permission. They go out there and they fuck shit up. So if collateral damage.
What about it?
There's a bunch of people running around talking about defund the police, and if we got to lose 5 to 7 cards from Magic, collateral damage, I'll take it.
Sure. I'll take that too. That's a very good point. Although I will counter, when the left gets mad, they fuck shit up. I've seen some memes that people made when the left gets mad and it's a burning dumpster, and they say when the right gets mad and it's just thousands of Nazis marching in a goose step perfectly. It's like, well, if either side of statism gets mad, it's going to get pretty bad probably if they can back it up.
You're probably right. But hey, in recent history, when's the last time the right in this country has gone and got nuts? Well, I guess they do kind of run people over with cars and then do mass shootings and shit sometimes.
Yeah.
They just, hey, everybody boogs different.
Everybody boogs different, yeah. It seems like a lot more of property damage than damage to life, I guess, like ending life from the left. Although you have that one fucking rat-faced fucker who was hitting people with bike locks for a while. I think he was a college professor that was dressed up and mingling in with black bloc and whatnot. They like to hurt people, but from what I've seen, there's not a whole lot of killing coming from the left either.
Yeah, you're probably correct about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad we had this conversation, because now I was all awash in the mystique of the revolution here.
What were you?
I should double check that.
What were you thinking?
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I just thought it was cool. I was like, all right, go out there, do some riots.
Oh, okay. I
guess I was supportive of it, I suppose, on an emotional level at least.
Well, I'm not unsupportive of it.
But you're right. I guess that's all they're doing. They're not really doing anything.
Well, I think it gives voice.
Huh?
I think it gives voice to things if depending on how it's interpreted, and that's the hard part. It's not necessarily the actions of burning down whatever business that makes a difference. It's the massive amounts of destruction that gets the governors or mayors or whoever scared, and they're like, well, fuck, we got to stop this somehow. I guess we got to give in. So fuck, man, that's all another reason why I just kind of been like, you know what, fuck it, because I don't want to go burn shit down. I don't want to hurt people's livelihoods and whatnot, but I can empathize with some of the reasoning, not necessarily the outcome. It's all fucked up. There's so many shades of gray. So taking a hardline stance on one side or the other doesn't make any sense.
No, but I do like watching CHAZ. I think it's cool.
I think it's interesting. I think it's an opportunity.
The memes are great, and yeah, well, unless it is, been spoon fed, like you said, because there is that, and and somebody's got to be donating.
Mm-hmm.
Who's in there going to work?
Well, and that's
how are they operating an economy?
That's the joke, isn't
supply
it?
Lines. I don't know. How does that work?
That's the joke, isn't it? Is who's in there doing work because they're all commies. That's the fucking joke. I mean, leftists work. They're workers. Some of them. A lot of them. The real ones. There are fucking commies who don't work.
But like, what I guess I mean to say is how are they? I guess I would need to know more about the logistics. Again, like supply lines. How are they getting things in and out, and how is an economy functioning in there?
Okay, what I've seen,
you know what I mean?
They have a big board by where you go in with the list of shit that they need. that they're asking for donations and stuff. And because it is closed, because they're operating within hostile territory, if they're an autonomous zone, right? What I hear is that they're getting along with the business owners. Nobody's harassing anybody, so I think the business owners in there are able to get their stuff. So that's a little influx from an outside economy that they're participating in. I don't know. I've heard the opposite too, but I've heard from people who are supposedly there and whatnot that that's happening. But I think it sounds like a lot of donation and gift-based economy, as Marxists would want, right? And people are slamming them for that.
That just means, yeah, I don't see how it's sustainable.
Well, now check this out.
And
I saw this the other day. That was a really funny thing. When the Bundy Ranch standoff happened, and after, when I believe Clive Bundy's son, Ammon Bundy, they went and occupied that wildlife, government wildlife building or whatever, they had a list of demands that was almost word for word the same as the people in the CHAZ zone. Because they're holed up. They're fucking...
Really?
They're shored off. They're closed off from other things. They can't do anything else. So they're asking for people who support them to help them. And it was hilarious seeing them side by side and watching, people who are more right, watching their fucking heads explode when they realized, oh, fuck, people that lean right do the same thing as people who lean left sometimes. Oh, my God. I don't know.
No, just need to get over telling each other what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Earlier, I wanted to get all over me because he didn't like what I had to say. And it's like, why are you so upset? Why are you so mad? Over what? You're on Facebook. I know you are, because that's where I said it. Like, how are you this upset? Okay? And that's what unnecessary hate and division.
Right.
How are you going to... Nothing's going to get any better until you can clean yourself of that. So if all you're going to do is perpetuate that crap, all I'm going to do is laugh at you.
Right. Well, you're not wrong.
Or I'm not going to take you seriously.
You're correct. 100%. And that kind of goes back to what I wanted to talk about, was your ideas with symbols, because I think it draws tribal lines. The last time we really talked about was quite a while ago, and you were pretty anti-symbols.
Ish, I am, and I don't even know if I can really pontificate why, but I just feel like they do more harm than good. It's like earlier you were talking about the Boog Boys and how they're out there with their shirts, and the first thing I was thinking, I was like, someone's gonna go out there and screw up. We're not gonna know who it was or why.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all a bad guy needs to do, all some white supremacist needs to do, is go just throw on a Hawaiian shirt and then jump in the middle of a BLM protest, start spouting some shit, and now nobody trusts the Boog Boys, and they can't perform their role
right
in this. And I feel like that's the most useful thing to do with symbolism, is to corrupt it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The most utility you're going to get out of it is by corrupting it. The only time I'm using it right now, okay, and I'm not sure I really like it. I'm using the V.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to corrupt that thing because it says voluntarism. Like, there's a big V. Like, how are you? I'm sure it can happen. All you got to do is give it to the wrong person, let them go out, run around, do something. But I'm throwing it out there. Hopefully, because of everything that's going on out in the world, I'm temporarily supporting symbolism so that hopefully some more people will get acclimated to some of the things they might see on the street.
Sure.
Because what we're seeing for the first time in my lifetime is we're seeing the internet leak out into the real world. We have internet. Boog Boys that's the proof of it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Boog Boys are proof that the internet is leaking out on into these protests, and so you're going to have these normies and the rest of us mixing together.
Right.
And normies have no idea.
No.
Anything. So that's why I think that's why I feel like temporarily I'm adopting it to get more awareness out for if you see somebody running around with the voluntarist symbol, okay, and they start saying some dumb crap, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me know so I can set you straight.
Sure.
Or so we can beef it out and we can talk about where I'm coming from.
Yeah. And you know,
But for the most part, if it wasn't for this crap going on outside, I wouldn't be using my V. I would just let it go. And if you want to know who I am, come talk to me.
and that's how, you know, and that I think is the way forward. Eventually, that's the best way to do it. Let me know, come talk to me, no matter the symbol, anything like that. That's what I was talking about with going to the bar and talking to people because they see my shirt, whatever. But that's the other thing is getting people together who have similar interests, and that's the use for symbols that I see. You know, it's the useful part of symbols, right? Is getting people together on the same page. It's easier than walking up and saying, "Hey, what are you?" And if they see me with an agorist thing and they know what that is, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're an agorist too, awesome." Or like you with the V, "Oh, you're a voluntarist too, awesome." That's the one thing. But I think with like the Boog Boys with the Hawaiian shirts and stuff, you're right, that gets corrupted extremely easily. And it's just like the black bloc look, the Antifa, you know, black bandanas, all that stuff. What does every agent provocateur at a protest dress like? That who's a cop who fucking breaks shit. They dress like that. They dress like black bloc. So going too far down that symbolism is a problem. And then you can also take a lesson from the cops on this. If you look at, I think it was NYPD during a lot of these protests, they had armbands. That was their only identification if you were not looking for their soft vests underneath or their earpieces or whatever. And they had plain clothes. And they were out in these protests doing what they did. And they had changed the color of their armband every day. It's a huge fucking rabbit hole. They're useful to a certain extent. They can be corrupted. You got to be smart about it. And what it comes down to is talking with people. Because you don't have to be a thing, a this or that, with a symbol to be a good person who can help move the world forward.
For sure. And maybe I'm pessimistic about it, but I'll go ahead and take that stance. I'll go ahead and I'll do that just because I think it gets overlooked a lot.
Sure.
People like to go ahead and like to throw their symbols out there, and I'll keep awareness out there that be careful.
And that you should. It's a valuable argument. It's a valuable stance. Yeah, it is. Well, that's another reason too why I'm about the black flag. I know it's a symbol, but it's just a straight black flag. You know, no allegiances. It's an anti-symbol, which is something I've always liked.
Right. I don't have any problem with that one.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a difficult one to corrupt, and everybody. There's always going to be an argument for all of them. Like I'm sure, you know, I could sit here again. Well, the V, that's hard to corrupt. Now, I don't know. Didn't that come from V from Vendetta? And aren't those guys associated with? And then doesn't that turn out like this? And aren't you part of Occupy Wall Street? And it's like no.
Sure.
And it's always going to depend on who. But as long as the conversation started, you know, it's good. There's good points to both sides.
I agree.
Just watch out.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
if you're out booging and you got your Hawaiian shirt on, make sure you know those guys.
You got to guard, you know, if you're going to have a symbol, you got to guard them. You got to guard what they stand for and what you stand for. And that's true no matter what. That's true no matter what movement you're in throughout history. We're in that cycle. It's the cycle that repeats all the time in history. Hard times, good men, easy times, soft men, back and forth, whatever. The one I've said on the show ad nauseum. It's frustrating, but once you realize that, I think it is a little easier to accept the struggle and not worry about keeping things perfect. Because it's just going to change again someday. That was kind of rambling, but that's something I've been thinking about.
That's all right. There's a lot of that. It's okay. We're libertarians. We get the pass on that.
Well, let's end it on a ramble because we're at an hour.
Little L's.
Yeah. Let's end it on a rambling end, and then we'll call it a good show. It was a great show. You want to plug into your pages because your pages are fantastic.
Oh, sure. No, I'm here. What do? I do Phantasmic. I think that's my baby right now. I really love my dork page. And I need to spend some more time and give that some more attention. And then to a lesser extent, I'm doing Anarcho Taco Ball, but that's much more of a group effort.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's on that one. Dan helps out with that one. Gabe gets on there now and again and throws some stuff up there. Gons is on there. So that's just that's almost like a worse bastardized version of black market memes, I think is what I'm going to call that thing at this point. But yeah, that's me. I help out with Anarcho Taco Ball, and then it's me and then Ian and Justin, who are over there helping me on Phantasmica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great.
And
fucking
that's what I do on
too.
the internet until I start my videos.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and
I have a lot of fun with those.
I'm looking forward to the videos too. Yeah, Phantasmica is amazing. And of course the Taco Ball. I think I still throw you some stuff for those like once every couple months when I find it. But yeah, those are good stuff.
Sure.
Definitely check those out on Facebook. I'll link those in the description. Hopefully we can link your pilot video for your talking to everybody about the news feed in here too, and we get that going as well. So that'd be awesome. Jimmy John, thanks for coming on. It was a great show, and now we're going to jump into the Patreon after hours. If you're a patron of the Dank Pod-Stash at the $10 or above level, you will be able to watch our conversation after this. So thanks again for coming on. Thanks everybody for listening, and remember, total freedom, no exceptions. Enemy of the State's Dank Pod-Stash is sponsored by Project Sparta. Go to projectspartacoaching.com to learn more.